Hey everybody. I was watching Back to the Future recently and it got me thinking, God, it would be so cool to own a time machine and you could visit your past or future self maybe, and you could visit different time periods or eras. Like, for example, I always loved like prehistoric or the medieval times. Unfortunately, if time travel did exist, people would obviously abuse it to like alter history. Hence Back to the Future Part 2. Damn it, Biff, this is why we can't have nice things. Anywho, I thought, there's also been a whole lot of different video games where you travel through time, so I thought, I'm going to take a look at some of my favorites. And I was going to do this as a countdown video, but then I was like, so whatever. Now, of course, we can't talk about time travel in video games without talking about Chrono Trigger. Yeah, I have the PS1 version in this collection, which it comes with Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy IV. I also have the SNES version of both these games on my SNES Classic. Anyway, Chrono Trigger is just, it's such a masterpiece, and I love the concept of the game, how it's like, it's a JRPG where you travel through time, and then you gain an ally from, like, all these different time periods. Like, for example, you get a cave woman from the prehistoric times, and then a frog knight guy from the medieval era, and then you get a robot from the future. And it has such a great story and amazing soundtrack. And I like how each of the game, there's a variety of different endings you can get. Like, what more can I say? The game is such a masterpiece. The next one is Secret of Evermore. Sorry, the label's kind of messed up there. This is a game that I feel like is very underrated, or it tends to be kind of overlooked, but probably because a lot of people try and compare it to Sword of Mana, which it kind of is, like, there's similarities and stuff. Well, truth be told, I never really got into the Sword of Mana games, but I loved Secret of Evermore. Now, with this game is, the thing, I like how when you travel to these different time periods, from like the prehistoric times to the future and stuff, and then it's like the kid that you're playing as, he has his dog with him, and his dog changes like in all the different time periods. So like in the prehistoric times, he's a savage wolf, and the cat just jumped in my lap. Hello. And then in the future, he's like a robot with a toaster body. I need to go back and play this. This is such a great game. Like I said, it's very overlooked, kind of. Can I help you? Anyway, this next one is a bit of a stretch. Eternal Champions. Now, Eternal Champions is a game that... Oh, dusty. I remember reading... During the 16-bit era, I remember, like, when this was coming out, I remember seeing the commercials and then like looking at it in game magazines and stuff, and it was a game I always wanted to play back then, but I didn't get the chance till about, I don't know, I want to say 2015 maybe. And again, I just love the concept of this game, how it's like, a fighting game with all the characters being from different time periods, thrown together to fight each other. And this was a game I feel like it was kind of ahead of its time, because the fatalities, I mean, obviously, I'm sure that's part of the reason, it probably couldn't compete with, like, Mortal Kombat or something, but the fatalities, or whatever they call them, when you look back at those, of the fatalities, we'll just call them fatalities, especially, like, the arcade version, it's just like, damn, like, some of the stuff even makes me like, ugh. I mean, let's just say it's the mid-90s, the only Mortal Kombat games are 1 through 3, all the others don't exist yet. You compare the fatalities in those games to the ones in this, and it's just like... like I said, this game... That's a good reason why I feel like Sega really ought to bring this game back, or this franchise, and make more of them, because imagine what they could do now. Yeah. Cool game. I like that. The next one was actually like a series, but this is just one in particular. It's the Timesplitters games, which... God, so many great memories with these games, especially, this is for those who have never played it, it's a series of first-person shooters where you travel through time. Like, there was 3 of them during the 6th gen. it's hard to say which one is my favorite. I know the first one isn't really that great because the story is very. It's hard to explain, but the deathmatch in that game was a blast. My brother and my friends and I had so much fun playing that. And then with this one, this is the third entry. With this one, for example, you go from World War II, and then you go to the 70s, and then you go to, I think it's 1994, where you go to like a mansion and fight zombies and stuff. You go to different parts in the future and stuff, and you have like allies and fight enemies and stuff from each of these time periods, and it's just awesome. And it's like, it's a very goofy game too. Like, it's not completely serious. There's a lot of like, like I said, goofiness. Hence the fact that you can play as a monkey, which he's actually in all the games, and all the characters in the deathmatch are just so like, I don't know, it's just like such a random compilation of characters. That's what made this game so awesome, or these games, I should say. God, I still would love to see more, like a fourth entry, or maybe even a fifth. Hey, keep the franchise going. But probably, it's hard to say if this is my most favorite time travel game. If not this, one of the Timesplitters. But yeah, I think this. Yeah, I'd probably have to say this is my favorite. And Timesplitters, like any of the Timesplitters games, would be a very close second. But it's got to go with Turtles in Time. Oh my god. Now, of course, I grew up with the Ninja Turtle franchise. Hell, I was born the same year the cartoon series came out. You know, I love Ninja Turtles as a whole, like the franchise, which it's crazy to think that because it started as a comic in '84, the franchise is now 35 years old. Damn. Now, as for like the franchise as a whole, if you ask me, like the different takes on it and stuff, the incarnations, never really read too many of the comics. It's something I need to do, but TV show wise, I love the 87, 2003, and 2012. And then for the movies, I love the first two from the 90s, and the 2016 one is a guilty pleasure of mine. Oh, and the 2007, that's another good one. Then, of course, the games where, you know, Turtles in Time, you play as the 4 turtles, or 2 if you're 1 or 2, whatever, and then you go from, like, the prehistoric times where you fight Slash, and then you go to the Pirates era and fight Bebop and Rocksteady, and then you go to the Old West and you fight Leatherhead, and then you go into the future, and God, I love this game. So many great memories with this game. And like I said, I love how you fight like everything in the different time periods, like. And a funny thing about Ninja Turtles was because this was like, as a kid growing up in the 90s, Ninja Turtles was my favorite toy line next to Z-Bots, which it's funny to think about that because everyone and their mother knows who the Ninja Turtles are, where Z-Bots were more of an obscure toy line. If you're curious about Z-Bots, I've done a couple of videos on them, or better yet, there's a 2-minute compilation video of all the old, some of the old commercials, which I'll put the link to that video in the description if you want to check it out. So, yeah, good old Turtles in Time. God, I love that game. So, what are some of your favorite games where you travel through time? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. But as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.